And as I promised yesterday, way in the late, well, how you go? Late in the midnight hour, because it was late last night, but I was like, you know what? I got to do it. As promised from last night or early this morning, I am up to give you all some information on how you should stop living broke. This is my podcast, Stop Living Broke. And I want to share information with you, beautiful people, to help change our mindsets from living in a poverty mentality and living in a financially well mentality, having a financial mind, having a wealthy mind mentality, having a healthy, wealthy mentality. Healthy health and wealth kind of go together. It's cliche. Your wealth is your health and your health is your wealth, but it's the truth. So here we are. What are we going to talk about today on this beautiful, beautiful Thursday, August the 28th? We're going to talk about mind transformation. Yeah. See, when I talk to people about finances, they typically think that it's a one, two, three antidote or a formula that you just do this, you do this, you do this, and voila, this happens. Well, some things I'm going to share with you, it is like that, but then there are some things that you got to put some work in it. I mean, you got to put work in it. You have to break generational bad habits. You have to. I'm not going to say curses. I'm going to say bad habits. Bad habits. We have bad habits. I used to have bad habits. Some bad habits I still have. I'm working on it. But we, for the most part, have to change our mentality. And how you change your mentality is change the things that you do. There's a saying that if you continue to do the same thing over and over again and think you're going to get a different result, that is insane. And so we should not be operating in an insane mentality. We need to operate in a sane mentality. And that is facing some realities and making differences in our life, changes in our life, and stop living a life of falsehood, of false wealth. Right? Stop living a life of false wealth. I used to be that person living a life of false wealth. Um, Hey, it is what it is. You look my stuff up. I've been to prison, and because I was in prison, trying to do some things that was not my nature, but chasing after wealth, false wealth, and I ended up losing everything. The girl snitched on us, just a big thing. The judge gave me 50 years, reduced it down to 10, suspended to 10, reduced it to 5, something like that. I ended up with 5. I made first parole. Did not snitch, but that is not a life for me. But I was chasing false wealth. I was chasing false wealth. And so as I matured in life, I started to realize that I have to change bad habits and I have to live within the means of what my financial status is and work to be in a better financial status, a better financial situation. And that means that I had to do some things that's different. And that's reprioritize my money. Reprioritize my money. Stop getting caught up with the bling bling. Stop getting caught up with the gold. I love gold. I love nice things. I love nice things. I love to drive a nice car. I drive a very nice car. I love to live in nice places. I live in a very nice place. And I like to have money in my account. And I got some coins in my account. And I had to realize that living a life of false wealth is living in a broke mindset. And when you realize that, then you make decisions. When I realized that, I needed to make decisions, different decisions, right? And so that's what this podcast is all about, helping us to change our mindset, knowing how to say no to wanted needs. See, the powers that be has got us on this thing that we need a lot of wants. And I'm not saying you can't have wants, but you don't need the wants. My yard man is cutting the grass outside, and I don't know if you guys can hear it, but he is mowing away. Nevertheless, so I had to realize for me that there is a time frame for things, right? And prioritizing my money plays a part in that. Going out to eat every single day, going out to eat on the weekends, hanging out with my associates and friends on the weekends, buying impulsively because oh, it's so pretty, I like it, I want it, and just to have people say, oh, you look so cute, but then my account isn't so cute. I had to do some things. I had to make some different decisions. Make different decisions. And one of those things was to look at the reality of where I was. And the reality of where I was is if I lost my job back then when I was working in corporate America, and I've been an entrepreneur. I've worked in corporate. I've been an entrepreneur. I've been a farmer, a street entrepreneur. um, but on the legal side of things, working in as a hairstylist and working as a customer service manager um, uh, on a higher end per se, I realized that I had to prioritize and I had to restructure, re-strategize, right? And then when I started to elevate in the company, I told my mom, I said, I'm in corporate slavery. And what I meant by that was I had the 401k, um, the high, I'm mingling with the higher ups. I'm looking good for better positions. Yet, if I lost my job, could I survive longer than 30 days? Could I survive longer than 30 days? If ask yourself that question. If you lose your job, could you survive longer than 30 days? Could you survive longer than 3 months? Could you survive longer than 6 months? Could you survive longer than a year without having a job? How much money do you have invested, saved, or put away for those rainy days? And when I looked at the reality of my life, oh my gosh, I wasn't going to be able to survive. I had the Mercedes, I had the nice car. It was like one, two, three, four bedroom home, upstairs, downstairs, garage. Was it two door? Two, no, one door, one car garage, nice backyard, nice no, two car garage, sorry, nice backyard, nice front yard, pool in the back. So I had a nice house. This was when I was in Virginia. But if I lost my job, right, if I stopped doing hair, something happened and I couldn't do hair, could I live off of my savings? Could I live off of investments for for at least a year? Right? And I was like, wow, I wouldn't be able to do that. So I had to make different decisions. And I had to reprioritize my money and realize what was important and what was not important. I was living a falsehood of wealth, and that is living broke. A lot of us are living broke and we don't realize it. And so that's where I'm at. Looking at why I'm here today. Just going on the podcast and listening to these financial influencers and gathering the information that they were sharing with me and utilizing that information and reprioritizing my money. I found that I did not have to live broke, right? So now I live in Atlanta. I live in Georgia, and things are totally different for me. And in case you guys didn't know, Atlanta has been deemed the number one city to live in, or the number one city that has the most black millionaires. Hello, somebody. You better get with it. So, anywho, being here and surrounding myself around uh, like-minded people and people that are further up the ladder financially, and listening to them and gleaning from them and learning from them, I am now able to do what they're doing, share the information with you. And I'm excited about that. I'm excited about that. In the last couple of years, I've been doing some traveling, and I've just really been excited and restructuring my finances and being in positions to be able to be a blessing, to just to be a blessing, and to live a different lifestyle, and to be more happy and peaceful, and knowing that the decisions that I am making will make my future me happy. And that's what this is all about. Ensuring that your future you will be appreciative to the present you and the decisions that the present you is making, right? So, one of the things I want to talk about today is making sure you got a portfolio. That's right, people. You need to have a financial portfolio. So, what's the purpose of a portfolio? Well, the purpose of your portfolio is to help you to invest. To achieve your long-term financial goals strategically by combining and managing a collection of your investments, balancing your risk and potential returns, whether it's saving it for retirement, education, building your wealth growth, income, or anything that you want to do with your finances. So a financial portfolio is also showcases the investor, meaning you, the accomplishments, your skills, abilities, which allows you to track your capabilities, your opportunities, your growth, and your progress. That's what your financial portfolio is all about. So if you don't got a financial portfolio, it is so simple. You basically get a notebook. You can get a notebook, a spiral notebook they used to use in school. It's so simple. Just start where you are. Start where you are. Or use your Excel. Or if you're into Google, use your Sheets. And you document what you have. Document your assets. Document your assets. We're going to keep moving forward because I want to talk to you about how your financial portfolio, how many financial portfolios an investor can have. You can have as many as you want. It's based on your goals. You can have a portfolio strictly for your retirement. You can have a portfolio for your Christmas fund. You can have a portfolio for your house fund. You can have a portfolio for your stocks. You can have a portfolio for your real estate investment, your crypto investment. You can have a growth portfolio, an income portfolio. You can have a balanced portfolio. You can have a target date fund. You can have a socially responsible portfolio. You know there are different kinds, but these are the major ones. So let's just talk about the growth portfolio. That focuses on your long-term capital appreciation that's often with a higher accolation to the stocks. So we're going to be talking about stocks too. So your growth portfolio is basically your long-term portfolio. And then your income portfolio that prioritizes uh, the generating regular income through your investments like your bonds and your dividend paying stocks. So if you're into stocks, that's what that helps to do. These are your investments that you are directing your money to, and so you can track what your gain is in your income portfolio. Now, your balanced portfolio, that aims to strike a balance between your growth and your income, typically with the mix of your stocks and your bonds. So we'll talk about stocks and bonds. Don't let this stuff scare you. Get involved with your investment, with your future. Learn this stuff. Now, I do want to say this. Any information that I'm giving you is strictly information. It is not a tip. It is not advice. I am not an advisor. I'm not a legal advisor. So, any information that I am sharing with you is strictly information that I am sharing with you. This is not advice for you. Take what I say and research it yourself. Now, your target date fund, that is what we call a type of mutual fund designed to adjust its assets, allocations as the investor approaches their target retirement date. We are all going to stop working one day. That's called retirement. Okay, some people work longer than others. It breaks my heart sometimes when I go into some of these stores and I see the elderly working. I'm like, oh my God, you're still working. And it makes me say, hey, get your together, because I don't want to be working when I should be vacating, vacationing, enjoying my grandchildren, my children, my grandchildren, enjoying my beau, and or husband or whatever you have, enjoying life. Yet we're still working and you're 70 and 80 years old. There's a difference if you have your own business and it's flourishing, and you're just one of those elderly people that don't want to be in the house and you want to mind your business. I get that. Mind your business. We'll be talking about that too. Or if you're one of these elders that have invested wisely and you just want to get out the house because you don't want to be in, I get that. That's different. But when you're working because you have to work, that's the problem I have, right? So then we have the socially responsible portfolio. That focuses on investments that align with the investor's value and promote social environmental responsibilities. You have some people that are socially inclined into their community and their environment. And so you may have a portfolio for that. There are actually people that invest in or save the money or invest in making sure that our environment is conducive. So that's that. So again, your 5 types of portfolio: growth portfolio, income portfolio, balanced portfolio, target date fund, and socially responsible portfolio. Go look them up or re-listen to this podcast. But get that down. Get those portfolios down. And you don't have to have all 5. Most people are mostly into growth portfolio and income portfolio, and your balanced portfolio, target date portfolio. The 5th one, but again, uh, figure out the portfolios you want to start with and start working on that. Okay. Now, to define your financial goal, when deciding on the type of financial portfolio, it is important to know your financial goals. So, remember, I was talking about long term goals, those type of things, long term, short term. So, think about what you want to achieve with your investments, such as your retirement or a down payment on your house or your children's education. Whatever it is that you want to do, think about what it is that you want to do in 10, 20, 30 years, right? So 10, 20, 30 years. If you're 50, then 10 is 60, 20 is 70, 30 is 80. Hey, that may help you live longer because you want to have your money to do something with, right? So think about what it is that you want to do. Write it out. Don't keep it in your mind. I get on my mentees all of the time about this. Stop keeping it in your mind. The word says, write the vision, make it plain. Write it. Write it out. Write it out. Write it. There's a saying that says if you want to keep something from a black person, put it in a book. Because basically what they're saying is black people don't read. So I don't believe that, but hey, It is what it is. So write your vision out, write your goals out, write it out. That's the purpose of your portfolio. Write out what it is that you want to achieve. Write that out. If you want to buy a house, right? I want to buy a house. Write that out. That's your goal. And when do you want to buy a house? 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And while you're writing it out, don't say to yourself, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to afford to buy a house. I don't know. That's a broke mentality. You gotta change your mindset. Change your mind. Listen. You have conversations with yourself in your mind. Everybody do it. They say, as long as you don't answer yourself. Well, sometimes you got to answer yourself, okay? Sometimes you got to tell yourself, shut up. We are going to buy a house in 5 years. We are going to buy a house in 10 years or whatever it is. We are going to have this amount of money saved by this amount of time. You have to believe it in your mind. Your mind is the most powerful thing in the world. It's the most powerful thing. It's more stronger than muscles. I don't really got a lot of muscles. I'll be working out. I got a little bit. But it is the most important thing. It's the most powerful thing. And it's the most strongest thing. It's your mind. So you got to get control of your mind. So while you're writing your goals out, don't let the negative mind talk to you. Tell that mind, shut up. Get away from me. And then write out your goals. Then once you write your goals out, then you be realistic about it. Okay? Hey, I want to buy a house at this time. What do I have to do to make this a reality? So now you write out where you are. Where are you financially? Write that out. Write that out. How much money do you make annually? Write that out. Now you put on the other side how the house that you want. Like, be realistic. So if you want a house that's ranging at $250,000, $375,000, write that out. You write it out together, okay? I'm talking to you. So when you write out what you make now versus what the house is that you want to be able to buy, right? Break down how much you make per month annually, right? Then you break down your expenses. Then you're going to have to get real. You're going to have to be real with yourself, okay? Write down all of your expenses, all of them, like the bleach, the washing powder, the toilet paper, the toothpaste, if your laundry, how much you spend in food. Write it all out. You have to write it out. And we're not talking about the house right now. We're just talking about where you are in reality. This is still talking about your portfolio. Write it all out. Now, when you write it all, your wants, your needs, how much your vice, how much your vice is running you a week, a day, a month, a year, write it out. Then when you break that down on how much you make a month, subtract everything that comes out of your pocket. You subtract that, and then that tells you how much you have left, correct? Now, once you write it all out and you see, okay, this house, now we got that over here. Now you go over here and you simply divide that house by, if you say it's going to take you 30 years to buy your house, then you divide that. And that tells you how much your mortgage is going to look like, right? So now you got that. You know what your mortgage looks like. So now you're over here and you say, I got a lot of bills. And I don't see how I'm going to make this happen based on what I got going on over here. Over here is where you need to focus at. Reprioritizing your money, right? Reprioritizing your money. Now you start putting a star by what is really a need, what you really need to survive. What do you need to survive? You take that and you put that in another category. What do you need to survive? I guarantee you will chop your spending probably by 60%. Between 50 and 60, excuse me. You would chop that spending. Now, when you do that and you look at what your wants are, because the wanted needs, when you separate what you really need to survive, you'll be like, whoa, right? Now you got money that you didn't have. Now you have to condition yourself. You got to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. How much do you want your future you to have that house versus living in the status of how you're living now, right? So now you take that money that you now have found because you have been honest with yourself and realize, hey, I do have money. And you take that money and you go look into investments. You can do all types of things. You can do side, open up a side business if that's what you want to do. You can invest into stocks. You can invest into crypto. You can invest into an IUA. That's an index universal life insurance. We'll talk more about that. You start talking to persons that are where you want to be, and looking at different podcasts and researching ways to take that money to expand that money. And that's where your portfolio comes in at, right? So you start investing that money. You have short term and long term. So you have your portfolio. You go to your growth portfolio, your income portfolio, or your target date portfolio. And you start looking at ways to take that money to grow that money. That's what we do when we are looking to build our financial growth, our financial portfolio. Okay? You got to go where you are first and be honest with yourself. And then you build. Because now you have a target. You have information on the house. And I'm just using that as an example. A house might not be your thing. It might be a boat. It might be a car. I don't know. I'm just saying, no matter what your goal is, look at where you are now and be honest with yourself. And I'm not saying that you can't live. I don't want you to think that you can't live. But reprioritize your money. Okay? So again, to decide on the type of financial portfolio that you want, there's three types. You have the long term, and like we just talked about, thinking about what you want to achieve with the investments such as your retirement, maybe a down payment on a house, I don't know, your children's education, or you just traveling the world. I don't know. You can really do that. So a car, I don't know, or just making sure that you have so much money in your retirement fund that you don't have to work. You don't have to work. It's a difference between working because you want to work and working because you have to work. That's a totally different thing. The other one is your time horizon. And that's determining how long you plan to invest, as this will influence your investment strategy. So your time horizon, which goes in with whether it's a short term or long term. How long do you want to invest before you use that money to do whatever it is that you want to do with it? Okay. And the third one is your risk tolerance. Decide and understand how much risk you are comfortable taking with your investments. So be mindful, because when you are investing, there's always risk tolerance, and some people risk is higher, some people risk are lower. So you have to be mindful about that. When you are investing, I have found that it behooves me to invest in companies, when I'm talking about my long term, and companies that have been proven. Back in you have your blue chip companies, and now you have your Magnificent Seven companies. And your magnificent we're talking about blue chip companies are like Johnson and Johnson, companies like that that's been around, General Electric, companies like that that's been around for like forever and a day. Those are what I'm talking about when I say your blue chip companies. But when I talk about the Magnificent seven companies. I'm talking about companies like Amazon. I'm talking about companies like the Alphabet, Google. I'm talking about companies like I'm investing in those companies. Um, I'm talking about companies like oh my gosh, let me pull my companies up because I'm on a roll and my brain is like uh, I mean, and some people don't like Tesla, but Tesla is one of the magnificent companies. Give me a second, because I'm trying to go to my. Um, I invest on Cash App as well. I invest on E Trade. Excuse me, I trade on E Trade, and I trade on. Uh, um, Cash App too. I do Cash App because sometimes I have to do fractions of shares, and we'll talk about fraction of shares later. I just want to so yes, so um the Magnificent Seven is the Google. I got some shares in the Magnificent Seven, and I have some shares in Amazon. I have shares in Apple. I have shares in Meta. That's Facebook, and I use Facebook. I have shares in Microsoft. I have shares in Nvidia. And I just found out some things about Nvidia today, so I got to go back and look at that. And I have shares in Tesla. Now my daughter's mad at me about Tesla because she says that Elon is the devil. However, hey, you have to make your own decisions. You have to make your own decisions. But long term for me, that's what I invest in for my long term, because for me, I know when I wake up in the morning, those companies are still going to be there. Now, whether they up and down in their gains in their in the stocks, that's you have to pay attention to the stocks. But then your short term, you have short terms that you have to invest in, that you have to investigate and research, and we'll talk about those as well. Not today. Right now, I just want you guys to get focused on your financial portfolio. If you do not have a financial portfolio, you need to get a financial portfolio. You need to know whether, if you lose your job today or tomorrow, can you survive longer than 30 days? You need to be able to answer that question. How long can you survive? And so, again, the information that I'm sharing with you is simply information. Go research it for yourself. Do not take my word as a financial analyst or advice. I am only sharing information. I am only sharing information. Information has been shared to me, with me. I researched it. I made my own decisions. I used my own mind and made my own decisions. And now I'm in a position that I want to do what the big boys did for me, or the big girls did for me, and that's share information with you all. And then hopefully, as you guys are making wiser financial decisions and you are capitalizing off of those decisions, that you will want to share it with others. That's what it's all about, sharing. It is all about sharing. And in my sharing, I do want to talk about health. You want to take care, well, I don't know what you want to do, but for me, I take care of my health, because as I am being blessed, I want to enjoy my blessings. I don't want to take my money and have to give it to the doctor. I want to be able to do the things that I want to do. I just left Hawaii. It's going on 2 weeks now. My sisters and I, we went to Hawaii. I was able to get us a trip to Hawaii, and my goal now is to do an all expense paid trip for them somewhere. Because why? Because I want to be a blessing, and I don't want to do it and be financially burdened. But this trip, I was able to do some. They had to pay for their own plane ticket, and stuff like that. But we enjoyed ourselves in Hawaii. We learned that it's not Hawaii, it's Hawaii. And we had a wonderful time. We was there for what, 4 or 5 days, 4 nights, something like that. And it was not stressful. We didn't miss a beat. We didn't have to come back, oh Lord, now I gotta go back on the chain, then gotta work out we didn't have to do all that. we came, actually, my sister stayed. My baby sister, she stayed. She came. We flew back to Georgia, and she stayed a day or two, and then flew back home to Virginia. So we didn't have to rush back home to get on the chain gang to make up for the money that we spent. And here's another thing: while we were there, we spent wisely. We didn't spend foolishly. We were wise. So it's all about your mind, utilizing your mind. Your broke mentality starts in the mind. It doesn't start when you get money in your hand. That's not when it starts. It starts here in your mind. You have to change bad habits. It starts in your mind. So stop living broke. And the first step to stop living broke is changing bad habits. And the first step to changing bad habits is changing your mentality. I am so glad that you guys allowed me to come in and talk with you and share with you a little bit. I will be back tomorrow with more information about your financial portfolio. If you like this podcast, please like and subscribe. I am just starting out with the podcast. I've helped other people do their podcast. And my sister and I, guys, be looking out for the Diamond Girl Speaks. My sister and I will be coming back with the Diamond Girl Speaks. And we're going to be talking about some more great information. And I mean, we may talk about boys a little bit, we'll talk about what's going on in the world. We will be talking about our health. We will be talking about finances as well. It will be a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more conversationalist with my sister and myself, KK. Just having fun. And it is called the Diamond Girls, so please be on the lookout for that. And I have been 3 years going strong on the DC Carry podcast this race. So if you want to come and just have some fun and laugh, and trust me, we ain't talking about nothing financial right here. Those comedians are off the chain. I don't even know why I'm there. I'm telling you, they are off the chain. But I love comedians and I love to laugh, and they make me laugh every Wednesday on the DC Carry podcast. Airs at 8:30ish. 8:30ish. I'm an on-time person, but I don't mess with those men. 8:30ish right here on YouTube. Go to the DC Carry podcast. Come and see me there. Woo, boy. Don't come if you don't want to laugh. But if you want to laugh, come. Now, if you guys don't remember who DC Carey is, remember, he's Uncle Elroy from next Friday and Friday after next. So, and I'm so blessed to be on that podcast. He is one of my favorite OG comedians. And I will tell you guys, it's in your mind. You have to manifest it. I had a vision I was going to be working with him. And I'm there. And I just adore him and the other guys so much. They have become like family to me, and I just love them so much. You may not know it sometimes because we be going at it on that podcast. But go check us out every Wednesday, 8:30ish on the DC Care podcast. Supposed to be 8:30, but 8:30ish. But be on the lookout for my sister and me, KK, and Sister JJ, aka Dr. Benjamin, on the Diamond Girl Speaks. And again, we're gonna be talking. And be sure to chime in. Excuse me, on Stop Living Broke. Stop Living Broke. And first step is changing your bad habits. And the first step to that is changing your mind. This is your girl, Sister JJ. And I want you to know that you are important. Remember, collaboration over competition, individually grinding together. Guys, I'm living a life.